Did you know there are only 4 systems for growing your online health education business in 2026 that really matter? In fact, a lot of health educators think they have a marketing problem or a business problem, but in reality, what they really have is a systems problem. And today I'm going to be sharing with you the only 4 systems that every successful health educator is using, and struggling health educators, and especially those who are going to have a hard time in 2026, they are not aware of these, they're not using them effectively. And if you don't have these systems in place, it's going to be very difficult. So for example, if I were to give you 1,000 new leads tomorrow, would your business actually grow, or would it just be louder and more stressful? When you have the right systems in place, it allows you to handle the new leads, the new interests. When people raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested, that's when they're able to grow your business and be able to attract more clients and turn those interests into income. So system is awesome, because I think one of the best definitions of business that I've ever seen is that business is a system for delivering value to the marketplace. And when you understand that business is a system of delivering value to the marketplace, then you stop trying to think about how can I trade my time for more money? How can I work harder? How can I hustle more? How can I grind more? Then those are not the hustling and grinding is not the way to grow a high-income health education business. It's by having the systems in place that are able to automatically accomplish or add value, solve problems, and to generate leads in your business. We're talking about automation, and that's how businesses are designed to be able to operate with or without you, so that you could remove yourself from the day-to-day operations and your business is still able to grow in your absence. Because what system is an acronym. It stands for saving yourself time, energy, money, and stress. How many of you would like to save yourself time, energy, money, and stress? Type systems in the chat below if that's you. Right now, what is amazing is that there are thousands of health educators who are losing the contacts that they thought they owned. In fact, just this week, we see that Belt of Truth YouTube channel from Scott Ritzma, he has media on the brain. He has many health topics and videos, and he's reached hundreds of thousands of people, if not more, and his YouTube channel was taken down. Just overnight, they took it away from him, and that was a shock to many people. But it's showing that a lot of times we think that our subscribers are subscribed to you. They're not subscribed to you, they're subscribed to YouTube. And YouTube at any time is able to decide that your content doesn't fit their criteria, and now they want to remove you from it. In fact, we see another brand, Mind Care channel, which is someone who's attended our challenge before. She had 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, over almost 500 videos, and she talks about the mind and how to create health and peace and mental health. And her video was taken down in without much of a notice. Just overnight, the platform that you've built and you've grown is now no longer accessible. And a lot of times people think, like, I remember I had a YouTube channel taken down in 2018. I had to start from scratch, 3 strikes in 24 hours, no way to appeal, and it was gone for good. So that is a reality. Even in Facebook, I created a Facebook business page in 2012, and I started publishing there and started growing to reaching thousands of people per day. And then overnight, Facebook decides to change their business model from you reaching your followers to now you have to pay to play. That they want you to pay for Facebook ads to reach the people. So I went from reaching, let's say if I was reaching 3,000 people per post, now I'm reaching 300 people. It decreased 10 times. So we see that you think that they're following you, but they're really following Facebook. And all of this social media, what we have to understand is that your business is built on contacts, right? So social media, SM for short, is borrowed. This is rented as real estate. But your list, it is now more important than ever before in 2026. The Health educators who will be succeeding in the future are those who are building a list that they own, a list of contacts. This is really the only true asset that you own. If your business is dependent and it lives inside of someone else's platform, like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, then you don't really own your business. You're borrowing your business. Your business doesn't really belong to you unless you're building a list that you own. And what do I mean by list? I'm talking about email lists, physical mailing addresses, phone numbers, contacts, like real contacts that you can communicate with and keep in contact. And it's more important than ever before to be able to collect contacts, which is the first system for building your business in 2026 is lead generation systems. We want to be able to have ways that you're able to generate a lead. What is a lead? It's someone who's raising their hand to say, I'm interested in what you're offering, and you add them to your list. They opt in to something within a way that you're able to exchange something of value for their permission to contact them, which now you start to build your own. And some of the ways that you do this is there's something that's called a lead magnet. And when you have a lead, it's called a lead magnet because you want to attract these interested, qualified people. And what you do is you find something of value in exchange for their contact information. And that value solves a problem. The faster it solves a problem, the more leads that you will attract. These are lead generation offers. You're making offers that someone would gladly say, hey, here's my contact in exchange for whatever you're promising. So this may look like it's a free gift from you. It could be a consultation call. I want you to think that everything in your business, anytime that you're interacting with people, you want to be able to generate leads. You can do this. I teach my clients how they're able to generate leads from their speaking engagements. Even if at a speaking engagement you can't directly make an offer, sometimes you can, but sometimes you can't. You could create a slide that says, hey, I'll give you a free mini course, or I'm doing an extended training a week from now, and specifically for this audience, I will do a free training for you. Put a QR code on your slide and say, take a picture, opt in, and you ask for their name, phone number, email, and you send them the value, send them the details, have them register. Whenever you're hosting live events, you don't want to just drop the videos or drop the trainings, have people opt in and register for the events beforehand. So you could have a masterclass. Masterclass is a free training that you're actually educating and equipping people, and then they opt in, so now you can communicate with them again. There might be a PDF implementation guide that goes along with maybe your social media videos, your YouTube videos, or your long form videos, what I like to call lighthouse content, because lighthouse content allows you to go from chasing your clients to attracting your dream clients, because your ideal client is out lost at sea, and they're being tossed to and fro, and they're about to make shipwreck of their health, shipwreck of their financial decisions, and changing their diagnosis or their procedures or whatever it is that they're facing. They're sitting in the dark with this knowledge that you have. And so you can either go out and search for them and go seek them and go like exhaust your resources to go chasing down your clients, or you could set yourself like a lighthouse and you could attract them, let your light shine, creating content that solves small problems, that is able to make a difference in people's lives, whether they're short videos. That helps you to get awareness, which I want you to understand, social media has its place in business in 2026, but the place is awareness. The place is for you to reach audience, to come in contact with people you otherwise would have never been able to reach. There's millions of people who are searching right now on YouTube, on Facebook, even TikTok, that are looking for the solutions that you have, but the problem is your content doesn't come up. So lead generation offers or lead generation systems allow you to create content at scale. Lighthouse content is very important for that. So being able to solve content that is of value, and it starts to build your credibility. It tells your story and it educates your ideal clients so that the more time they're spending with you, the more they realize they're making a decision. Do I want to work with you or do I want to work with all these people? But if you don't have lighthouse content, they don't have that ability to research, which we're living in 2026, especially with AI and this information. Consumers are doing research on you before they ever choose to buy from you. And if you don't have content that they can research you before they buy from you, then they're not going to buy. So we need to be able to provide whether that's speaking engagements, that's podcast interviews, that's short videos, that's long form YouTube videos, whatever it is, by being able to provide lighthouse content that will be able to generate a list. But many health educators here create content. But the thing is, it's not just random content. A lot of these content gurus will tell you to go optimize for views and get much likes and shares and go viral, but virality is not enough. Virality alone isn't going to build your business. It might build your ego, but these are called vanity metrics. They don't directly relate to your bottom line. If you want to create content that converts, because there's a lot of health educators a lot of health influencers who might have 100,000 followers, but they're not making $100,000 from their business because views do not directly equate to more clients. So you want to be very intentional with how you create or how you attract those clients. And one thing that we're actually building, something I'm pretty excited about putting together, is our team and we are working on building a platform that's going to make all of these 4 systems a lot easier to deploy. In fact, we're actually building out these systems for you, for health educators, to be able to make it easier. And it's not ready to be shipped out right now, but I'm gonna let you know that it's coming. It's called Contact Keeper. And Contact Keeper is a all-in-one platform that's able to help you to create your lead generation offers, to be able to provide your masterclasses, your consultation calls, that wherever your ideal client comes in contact with your business, you can always ask them to opt in. And Contact Keeper will help you to do what it says and keep your contacts, instead of losing them whenever social media has their bipolar moment and decides that, oh, we are not going to give you access to the hundreds and thousands of followers that you have developed over the years, and then overnight you lose access immediately. So if you want to keep your contacts, we've got a solution that's going to be so much easier. And the good news is, for all of our current clients, we're going to give them access included with our coaching and our course platforms, which I think will make it a lot easier to really simplify this, as well as scheduling content so that you can be on multiple platforms. Contact Keeper is allowing health educators to be able to publish. Let's say if you post one reel, then instead of having a short video under 60 seconds and just post it on Facebook, with Contact Keeper, you could automatically post it on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, all major social media platforms that matter, all within the same amount of effort. It takes the same amount of effort to publish to one platform as it does to publish to 5 or 6 platforms. That allows you to expand your reach. And this allows you to build your list and attract more people. So other lead magnets might be like giving people a mini course, or even if you have a book, as you publish a book, you're able to by selling books or by providing, it could be an ebook or a digital copy, people will opt in exchange for value. In fact, books are incredible tools to be able to build your business faster. Or if you have a newsletter, an email newsletter, a digital newsletter can be really potent for being able to provide communication with your list, or to give people a reason to opt in, especially when it's on a topic that matters to them and that they're very interested in improving their health. So this it cannot be emphasized enough how important it is for you to be able to own your list. So you're building a list, and which leads to the second system for building, growing your business in 2026, which is lead conversion. Once you have your list, let's say you're developing your list and you've got 100 leads, 1,000 leads, then these are going to, then how are you going to convert them into sales? Because here's the thing. Let's say that you have a $1,000 course, for example. If you've got a $1,000 course and you have 100 leads, and let's say 10% of those leads end up buying your course, that's going to be $10,000 a month. If you got 100 leads a month, that's $10,000 a month. So if you just doubled your lead generation, instead of doing 100 leads a month, you do 200 leads a month. If everything else in your business stays the same and the only thing you do is increase your leads through Lighthouse content or through the right lead generation offer, you've literally just doubled your business. You went from making $10,000 a month to now you're making $20,000 a month, selling a $1,000 health course or training program. So lead generation is extremely powerful. And in fact, everything in business is downstream of lead generation. You could mess up the conversion. You could mess up a lot of things and not understand as far as marketing and other systems. But if you have good leads coming in consistently, adding to your list that you own, then business becomes very forgiving. Lead generation is really the skill of skills to help you to pay your bills. Now another way for you to double your income is lead conversion. If you're able, let's say you're making $20,000 a month, you're selling 20 of those, you have 200 leads, and you're converting at 10%. So if you increase your conversions through telling the right stories or having an irresistible offer, or by being able to learn the stage selling secrets, like crafting a signature speech that's intentionally designed to overcome objections, educate people closer to a sale. These are things that we do with, that I did with Dr. Kendra Lee. She came to me, she was selling a one-on-one coaching program for $1,500, and we're like, let's double that price. In fact, not only we're going to double the price, we're going to increase the value. Your ability to communicate the value of your offer is drastically more, it's such a big difference as far as it's not, most health educators aren't struggling that they don't have enough value or that what they have isn't helpful enough or that people wouldn't gladly pay for. The biggest problem that I see many health educators face is they don't know how to communicate it. If you're focusing a lot of technical medical jargon that's going over people's heads, then they're not going to buy it because a confused mind always says no. So we want simplicity, we want clarity, we want hope. These are things that allows people to buy and increase your conversions. So what we did with Dr. Kendra Lee, we helped her to increase her lead conversion, that when she communicates to people, now they can see the value and they want to pay. And they're gladly willing to pay a premium price for her health advice. And this is, lead conversion is extremely powerful. Another way that this lines up is when you have your list, you want to be able to broadcast to your list. You want to send marketing campaigns. We've all heard the phrase that the fortune is in the follow-up. Yes, we know follow-up is very important. Did you know that on average, it takes about 8 exposures to your offer before your lead decides to become a customer? So a lot of times people will get on a consultation call, they'll present an offer one time and they'll say, well, not right now, or I'm not ready. And then they stop talking. There's no more communication. They fall through the cracks and that's it. But what people don't realize is when someone joins your list, they're now giving you permission to communicate to them. And that's why we want to nurture those contacts. We want to be able to send these nurture sequences, and really they're automated follow-up systems that allow you to continue to add value and solve problems at scale. You could nurture them either by direct mail in the mailbox, or what I like is email automations, email sequences, story selling broadcasts. It's broadcasts that you send to your whole list, or even an email newsletter that you're sending out messages. But even these, you're able to take from your signature speech and take a short story out of it, put it into an email, and you're able to communicate, solve a quick problem, add clarity to something confusing for your client, or make sense of something. You're shedding light on various portions, and that becomes your nurture sequence. Now they're in this automated system that is able to continue to build the relationships at scale. Keep in contact with your list. So these are ideal clients who've already raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested. I want more. And it really baffles me how often, maybe sometimes health educators will have a list. I ask them, like, how many people are on your list? And they're like, oh, I've got a few hundred, but I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just collecting the list. And hey, collecting the list is better than nothing, but wouldn't you want to be able to communicate to them? And it used to be that you have to, for years in building businesses online, I'd have to use different email providers, different content schedulers, different list building tools, different funnel opt-in landing pages, and have to duct tape a whole bunch of different tools together to bring them all into a way to make it make sense. And for the last 6 months, I've been trying to bring together different tools and help them to speak to each other. And that's been a headache, but you don't have to do that anymore, because with Contact Keeper, it's an all-in-one marketing platform specifically built for health educators. And we're going to provide the templates for the nurture sequences of how it fits with your program. And the coaching frameworks and the concepts that we teach in our programs that have been able to help health educators to scale, to either start or scale their health practice or the health education business. And we're going to provide the text nurture sequences, the email follow-up sequences, and the opt-in pages and templates so that you could already have a business. In fact, just last night, I was helping a health educator put together their website. They've had desires to have a website for years, but through Contact Keeper, they were able to get it going in minutes. This is a grandma who is not highly technical. Their Contact Keeper is so simple that grandmas can follow through, click along, and figure out how to build a website without having to hire coders and developers and highly technical people to get it done, which is nice, because I think that as we could provide a platform for health educators to get your message to the masses, so you don't have to get caught in the weeds of all the technicalities, but you're able to focus on your message and your mission, that's exciting to me. And so what we're doing here is now we are nurturing the relationships, because really a lot of times people talk about like ROI. What is the ROI of this investment? The return on investment. Maybe it's investment of your time. Maybe it's an investment of a software you bought. Maybe it's an investment of a training program you bought. But very few people are talking about ROR. What is ROR? This is this is going to be more important in 2026 than ever, because before I tell you what ROR is, let me explain to you about the problem, because in 2026, we see there's a lot of AI. AI has taken over the internet. It has increased the amount of content that has been published before. Authenticity has decreased tremendously, and people are starving for human connection. They're starving for real relationships. So ROR stands for return on relationships. This is the power that your relationship, your reputation will have with you and your clients. And that doesn't mean that you can't use AI. It's just learning how to use AI in a way that it amplifies your authentic voice. It's not going to crowd out with generic AI slop that has not been modified or trained to personally understand you and who you are. There's a lot of just copy, paste, and use, which makes it to where people feel like this is like it's just junk. But instead, when you're able to train AI to know your voice, your brand, your mission, your methods, your beliefs, and be able to express them as a rough draft, it allows you to scale your influence. But the return on relationship is really, while you are able to nurture your leads, you're able to turn these relationships into revenue, or turn your reputation into revenue. And that allows you to be able to continue to communicate. One thing that's powerful about emails, for example, or text message, is that, first of all, texts get opened over 90%, and that is a really high open rate. People look at their text messages and they see that. And through emails and texts, you're able to directly give offers to your programs to purchase, to buy. Whether it's to sign up for your course, your masterclass, you could, when you're doing something, when you're hosting an event, you can send a message to your list and you're going to notice how things will start to increase. Whereas if you're on social media and you're renting space, the primary objective of these platforms is to keep people on their platforms, which is interesting because your primary objective as an entrepreneur is to take them off of their platform and into your platform. So in order to find a way that you're not going against the algorithm and the algorithm isn't going against you, there's limitations. When you're on social media, you don't really want to provide direct links that takes people off the platforms. Otherwise, it will hurt your reach and less people will become aware of you. So you have to find creative ways to be able to still add value, but also move them from a list that you're renting, the followers that you're renting, subscribers you're renting, to a list that you own. And that's through these lead magnets that we've been talking about. But what's really powerful is once they're on your list, you're able to send them direct offers. You can send as many links as you want in a video. You can send them to other Lighthouse content that you are recording and you're posting. You can increase your views. You can increase the people who attend your event. You're able to share more uncensored. This is where Dr. Berg, he has on his website, he has uncensored on his newsletter opt-in, and he's reaching millions of people on YouTube and millions of people around the world with his health insights, but he understands the value of keeping his own contacts. And by having contacts that you keep, you're able to keep in contact with them, build on those relationships, and you could share uncensored. That's where you could share the raw, the real, the science, the research, because on the social media platforms, people get demonetized. There's community guidelines that are really strict. There's AI algorithms that are tracing through the transcript of every video you're posting and seeing what you're saying, and they're going to reach out and they're going to stop holistic health educators who are publicly publishing on these platforms that they're renting, and they're going to be causing problems. And just like when you own a rental, you can't just do everything, changing up the building and the arrangements and start putting in new walls. And you don't have the full unrestricted ability to rearrange and design your layouts and your rooms the way that you desire. But get this, when you own your building, when you own your list, you can rearrange the rooms the way you want. You can discuss what you want to talk about. You can design your message, your future, the way that you desire. And you're able to communicate unrestricted. This is powerful. And as health educators, if you want to avoid getting shut down or terminated, then it's good for us to know that there's certain content that we share here on the social media, and there's different content we share on our list through text, through SMS, through Zoom, as long as the Zoom isn't going to be recorded and posted on these lists. But check this out. We're also going to provide a free speech that allows you to be able to host these courses. As you are converting these clients, you don't have to pay for Thinkific or Teachable or all of these subscriptions, Kajabis. There's these platforms that'll charge you $100 a month just to have access, or even more. But that's all going to be included at absolutely no extra cost for our current clients and also future clients with the course. This will be able to allow you to upload the videos, and you don't have to rely on the fickle content policies of these different platforms. And you'll be able to host your videos, access your videos, create your own ecosystem of your own community, your own group that you own the data, you own the contacts, and you get to keep. It's so cool. It's kind of like keeping sheep, but it's like keeping these contacts, these people, these precious individuals who have decided that they want to work with you, and you're able to keep in contact with them in a community that you own. And that will help you because you're able to also make different offers. Let them know when something is coming. Let them know that there's another program or there's an event you're going to be speaking at. You can segment your list, meaning you can identify who's in this location. When you're going to go speak at that event, you're able to broadcast to everyone in that location, this is where I'm going to be, And then you could fill the rooms that you're speaking at too. You have an instant audience whenever you're speaking to people because you've been a good keeper of your contacts. Where health educators who know a lot of people or meet a lot of individuals, but they're not collecting names, they're not collecting numbers and addresses, then you don't really have that level of influence that you desire to influence people with your message. In fact, there's ways that you can keep track of the strategic partners, not only clients, leads, prospects, but even those platform hosts that are going to open the doors for you to speak on to platforms that other people that otherwise you wouldn't be able to access. You can keep in contact with those relationships that you've been building. And there are currently, right now, I say this all the time, that there are currently platforms that have hundreds of thousands of people, of your ideal clients. And these platform hosts have already dedicated years and hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars to building this audience. And they're looking for speakers just like you are looking for audiences to speak to. But the only thing is that if you don't keep in contact with them, then those relationships start to stray. Contact Keeper allows you to continue to nurture those relationships. And I like how Robert Kiyosaki stated, he's the author of the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He says that the richest people on the planet look for and build networks while everyone else looks for a job. While many struggling health educators are depending on their job, which JOB, it stands for Journey of the Broke, or just over broke, while most health educators are looking for a job to financially support their family, their future, and even their health business on the side, the most successful health educators, or the richest people on the planet, they are looking for and building networks. Why? Because your network equals your net worth. So one thing that I've learned in business, because all business is really built on relationships, then it's a way for us to, we need to learn how to find creative ways to keep in contact with those people in our life. In fact, there was a story that I heard from, Paul Harvey. I believe it was Paul Harvey. He wrote the book, How to Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive. And he talks about, it's a business book. It's a book about networking. It's about building relationships. He's got over 12,000 friends, meaningful relationships, connections that people feel privileged to be a part of those 12,000 networks. And you might hear 12,000 friends. How do you do that? Well, part of it's they have Content Keeper type systems in place to communicate with people at scale. But one thing that he shared is that his dad, when he turned 18, his dad said, "Son, from this day forward, I want you to make a list, to keep a list of every person you come in contact with, and I want you to find creative ways to continue to add value to their life. Because one of the most valuable resources you'll ever have in life is your list of contacts." And I believe he wrote the book, Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. And it's this concept that when you're thirsty, you need help, you need something. But you dig a well by building relationships and adding value, making a difference in people's lives, communicating to them, helping solve problems before you ask. And when you give more than you ask, that's when your business starts to grow. And so what a lot of people do is they don't dig a well. And then they get really thirsty and they're off and they need help, or they want to make an offer, they want to make sales, but they haven't been digging a well. They haven't been deepening their relationship with other people. In fact, Proverbs 11, it says, "He that watereth shall be watered also himself." So by nurturing these leads, this is what leads to conversion. In fact, another analogy that's been really helpful that I've lived by for years is think of every relationship like it's like a bank account. Like there's a relational deposit and withdrawals that are taking place. When you create Lighthouse content, when you have systems, which that's the first system of generating leads, when you're Lighthouse content, you're making deposits into people's relational bank account. You're showing value, you're showing credibility, you're spending time with them. You are sowing into their life and their success and their dreams. So that's making a deposit. When you're asking for a sale, when you're asking someone to join your premium mentorship program or buy your course or your book, you're making a withdrawal. And a lot of health educators struggle to withdraw these checks or to take money to get more paying clients because they haven't made enough deposits. So that's why we created Content Keeper. That's why we teach these 4 systems to grow a business, is because without systems of continually making deposits into the right people's accounts, then it's very difficult to actually withdraw or to build a business and to convert those leads into sales. Does that make sense? How many of you want to convert more clients into buyers? Type convert in the chat below if you're starting to see more and more deepening the power of these relationships and keeping the contacts like never before. So so what we're talking about is lead conversion. You're able to do this by having the right signature speech. You're able to do this when you have offers. These are conversion offers that maybe it's a course, maybe it's coaching, maybe it's selling a book. These are really powerful. Now, the third system that every health educator needs to thrive in 2026 is client ascension. Why client ascension? Because studies have shown that it's about 14 times harder and more expensive and costly of time, energy, money, resources to acquire a new customer as it is to sell to an existing customer. The next system for growing your business is learning, how can I sell more to a current customer, and how can I help them to pay more often or to pay larger transactions? So you want to learn how to ascend your clients through what I like to call, you want to create a client journey. You want to map out, what does that client journey look like? And what's really powerful is when working with our students, one thing that we do when I'm coaching health educators, consulting with them, is we'll map out a client journey. We'll identify what are the stages, the steps of how do they come in contact with you? How do you get into their awareness? What lead magnet do you use to have them to opt in to solve that problem, and make sure that it's consistent on the same topic? It's not scattered and all of these different topics that are not intentionally directed. And as they're going through this journey, they're spending time with you and they're being closer and closer to a sale. Then when they purchase maybe a different price, or they join a consultation call, or they meet you at an event, what does the client journey look like for people to work with you? And one of the ways that you can create a client ascension is by having a premium value offer, by being able to have a premium mentorship program. When you're able to have higher priced items, but it's not just increasing prices, it's about learning how to increase the value. And so this is something that is really game changer for a lot of businesses. In fact, we had the Stewarts, who is a husband and wife, very dynamic duo, and they were afraid. We were like, look, you're selling too low. Your prices are too low. Let's raise your prices. And they thought they were going to lose clients. They thought they were going to get paid less, but they came on our coaching call. They were so excited. They're like, look, we raised our prices, and not only did our clients continue to pay, but we actually got more orders than before. We've increased our customer base and the higher price. And it was one thing, one strategic system, one lever that was put in place, and they were able to grow their business. So this is something that a lot of people don't think of. And in your business, you want to create an ecosystem of products. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of health educators make is if they have a product, they have one product. They have one thing that they're selling. And their mind is fixated on selling this one item. Maybe it's a cleanse, maybe it's like a parasite cleanse, or it's a supplement, or it's a course, or it's one thing. Or maybe it's inviting clients to come over to your lifestyle center and you're working with them. And that one thing is the only way that people have to work with you. And it's exhausting. It's going to be very difficult because now you're in this hamster wheel of you have to constantly get new clients. And when your business becomes very transactional meaning that they pay once and that's it. You have nothing, you have no journey to make them customers for life. If you want clients that will pay you year after year and decades in the future, then we have to map out a client journey. In fact, Dan Kennedy, I was at an event and I was at this seminar and he was saying, I want you to stand up in this room. There's probably about 300, 400 of us. He said, stand up if you've paid me over $100,000 in our relationship together. And there was like 30, 40 people that stood up and I looked around and I was like, whoa, that's a really good chunk of the audience. And then he was saying, he was just asked them to keep standing up if they paid more and more, or sit down if they paid less. But it got to about 100,000 and it was impressive. But then he went on to continue to say that if you want to get customers for life, it's not the principles you teach that are going to make customers for life. It's your personality. It's their perceived relationship with you. It's by being able to provide. He said that all the principles I teach, there's probably about 40 principles I share, and there's many of you who are standing who could teach my principles even better than I could teach them. And you know them very well. The principles don't change, but people they buy into your worlds. You're like creating an ecosystem or an environment that people want to be a part of, the communities that we talked about. And when you're making new offers, people want to be a part of that, and you're solving new problems and different challenges that people face, and they enjoy that. Just like even if you're doing weight loss, if someone lost weight, there's still maintenance to be able to cover. In our health education business, not only do we have a challenge to help people to transform their body in 3 months, but there's also there's maintenance programs. There's ways to be able to maintain the weight loss that they just got or get stronger and support them and give them ongoing guidance, or even turn them around to go be brand ambassadors to go help other people. So Client Ascension is a system that you're able to deliver premium solutions to people. And if you don't have a premium offer, then you're forcing your highest paying clients to go to your competitors who are not going to love them the way you do, who are not going to care for the people like you do, or they're not going to support them or even have as much like truth. Sometimes other people out there who might be solving a similar problem as you, they're like way off the mark. And the principles they're teaching are not only not healthful, they're actually harmful to people's bodies. And isn't that the truth? Sometimes the most popular and the most widely mainstream advice is some of the worst advice that people can do. But what happens is premium buyers are going to buy from someone. And if you don't have a premium mentorship program, then you're forcing them to go pay someone else who will have that program. So you don't want to just have a single transactional, single product-based business, because you got to understand that before people buy your products and programs, they buy your personality. They connect with you as a person, your story, your message, your principles, your values. And this is, in fact, in our courses, in our mentorship program, we have an entire profitable personality masterclass workshop where we walk you through how to craft that profitable personality that people can connect to, where you could use your stories, even stories from childhood, stories that everyday mundane stories that you go throughout your daily life. A lot of those stories start to convert much better than these dramatic and like once in a blue moon kind of transformations. You don't need a massive, like, I overcame cancer kind of story in order to build a profitable business online. A lot of times people will connect with the everyday simple stories that they could really relate to, and you're able to tie it in to your products and programs. In fact, we have AI Studio that is going to help you to take any story and turn it and use it to sell any program and instill any buying belief. And we've covered this on YouTube in great detail, how you can do that. But so I won't go into that now, but Client Ascension is really by having a follow-up system. And one thing that Contact Keeper, which is our all-in-one marketing platform, will be able to do is it's going to be able to help you to map out what is that follow-up system. So you can actually offer different solutions to them where you set it once and it's able to consistently go through. In fact, we've already going to pre-built the programs, pre-built the communication, the tools, the Ascension to help you to map out that client journey. So you're able to support them at every step of the way. A lot of times people are saying like, I don't want to charge too much. What about the people who can't afford it? Well, the answer is simple. By having a journey, you can have multiple offers that solve problems at different stages and phases. Different people have different investments, commitments, or investment abilities, and you're able to work with them at which stage and level they are. That's the power of having a client journey, or really client ascension, to help them to have other ways that they could work with you at different levels. Because lead generation is significantly more difficult than selling to existing customers. Existing customers are far more likely to buy from you again than someone who just joins for free. They are 14 times more valuable to you when you're keeping their contact on your list, because they're going to be the first people to buy your books when you launch. They're going to be the first people to buy your new program, to join your mentorship. They're going to be the first people to introduce you to strategic partners or platforms or other people who have event organizers who are looking for speakers like you to go share with them, whether it's a digital stage or a physical in-person event. Your current clients are some of the best tools, happy, satisfied clients who are excited to get your message to the world. But if you're not keeping their contacts, if you're not marking who bought you, I'm talking about throughout your entire career, Contact Keeper will help you to tag individuals who've ever bought from you. And sometimes you want to communicate just to them. Sometimes it's to get feedback. Sometimes it's to ask them for a new program that you're about to build, or what problems that they're facing. And their feedback is they're actually voting with their dollars. They're actually saying, yes, I am interested in what you have, so much that they've opened their wallet and they've been willing to pay a price for your health advice. So those are the people you want to consult with and communicate with, and great things happen. So the fourth system for growing your health education business in 2026 is client retention. Because it's not enough to sell to a person. You want to be able to retain your clients, and you can do this by creating recurring revenue. One thing I learned in my early 20s that helped me make $10,000 a month in my 20s is one of the first mentors. In fact, before that, I had 15 failed business attempts. And at that 15th failed business attempt, I found myself homeless, living in my car, wondering what is the secret to building a profitable business. I don't understand. It's not connecting. It's not clicking. And I've been doing health seminars and cooking classes and health lectures. I've been coaching people online. I've been doing so many different things for the first 5 years. And sure, I could kind of like stay afloat or cover my expenses, but I wasn't thriving or anything. I was just struggling to survive. It wasn't until I got a mentor, one of my first millionaire mentors, Dave MacArthur, and he shared with me, he said, when you're looking for a business, what you want to look for is you want to have a business that has 3 things. And these are extremely important. Number 1, you want something that will provide you passive income. Passive income is where you're not trading your time for money. It's disconnecting your income generation from your time. Some of the passive income, in fact, I've got a video. It's like 6 ways to create passive income as a health educator. It could be books, it could be courses, it could be a membership platform that people subscribe to and pay you monthly or pay you yearly. It could be software or apps that you have, health, education, nutrition apps. Passive income is where it doesn't actively require your time. So what's not passive, this is called active income, which is what keeps people really financially struggling, because anytime you're trading time for money, you have to actively show up, and if you don't, then you're not able to generate income. Even a brain surgeon who may make over $100, or maybe they make a couple $100 an hour. If a brain surgeon breaks their leg and they're not able to show up to work, they've now put their family in a very financially insecure place, an unstable place, very risky to have your primary source of income to be based on your active involvement. Because if you can't actively show up, you're gone. That's why a lot of health educators, when they come into business and they start thinking about what they can sell, they're like, well, if I'm going to raise my prices, let me give more hours of my time. Let me see how many one-on-one coaching sessions do I need to provide in order for people to want to pay. And that's not the case. In fact, most premium health, like high-paying health clients, they're not looking to buy more of your time. They're looking to buy more of their time back. They want to buy their time to spend more time with their family, to go on vacations they care about. If you can help them solve a problem that doesn't require them to be on an hour call with you every day of the week for the next 3 months, then that's way more valuable than if you could solve their problem with once a week, like in a group setting, and that you could help them to get to results, then then people would much rather pay a premium for the results. So understanding what people actually are buying makes a very big difference here. So stop thinking about selling your time. You want to get out of the employee mindset. And as an entrepreneur, you are selling results. You're selling transformation. People aren't buying information, they're buying transformation. It's what your strategies can get them or help them to become and do, outcomes. So this can provide passive income. The second thing, that after he made $12 million on the back of a signature speech and in selling his programs, one thing that my millionaire mentor taught me is that you also want to sell something that has residual income. Residual income is one of my favorites, which I find awesome because residual income allows you to sell it one time and you get paid month after month. And it's like subscriptions, it's recurring revenue that because you sold once, you now for the next few months or the next years, there's people that I sold our health programs, our superfood nutrition systems back in 2018 who are still paying us to this very day. And we're getting paychecks in our business because of residual income. This was absolutely life-changing. This is something that some of the ways you can have residual income is, for instance, if you have a course, instead of giving lifetime access to a course, give annual access to a course. Allow people to sign up. In fact, I saw the business model of King Solomon. In fact, by the way, did you know King Solomon had a business model? And I can't go into all the details. In fact, if you want, I could do another video in the future about breaking down the business model of King Solomon. But one of the things in 2 Kings, I believe it was 14, where it says that the kings of the earth, they sent him gifts. They paid him a rate, it says a rate, year by year. So King Solomon was a consultant to his contemporaries. He ran a kingdom and he consulted with other kings about how to run their kingdoms. We see a famous story of the Queen of Sheba who was coming and gave one of these gifts and asked him all these questions. And she said, the half was not told me. Queen of Sheba was one of the consulting clients of King Solomon. And we see that it was year by year that he had a subscription program. It wasn't lifetime access to him and all his wisdom. It was subscribers. So one way that you could do this is through, sometimes you have supplements that you can put people on auto shipment. So instead of selling a supplement, if you have supplements you share or nutrition systems, then instead of just one-off sales, think of them in terms of packaging. And you're able to package them. And that's another way you could do client ascension, is by packaging bonuses and create a system together. And if they're very consumable, if people use them daily, then have them subscribe to an auto ship so that you're able to supply for them. Or if there's a cleanse that you know of that cleanses the gallbladder, liver, and kidney stones, and it's something that you see that is good to do, instead of once a year or once in a blue moon, teach your clients the importance of maintenance cleanses. Like you have a car, and a car, I did a breakdown on YouTube of Dr. Bobby Price. He's also known as Dr. Holistic. And he sells these cleanses, parasite cleanse and nutrition cleanses. And he shows people how they can lose weight and reverse disease with a plant-based diet. And one analogy that he gave is just like you have your car and you have to do maintenance, you have to cleanse the oil, then your bodies are the same thing. You don't just do a cleanse once, you want to do it regular time. So what he does is he has a quarterly cleanse subscription that people are paying for once a quarter to go through this cleanse to help their body be at optimal, pristine functions. Where we may give our vehicle the best, but what about this physical vehicle, the vehicle that God has given to us, this temple that we're going to live with everywhere we go? Vehicles come and go, but our body is something that we live with every second of every day. How much more important is it to be able to sustain and maintenance and upkeep this temple that we have? So that's client retention kind of language. Is that making sense? Type value in the chat below if you're getting some value from this so far, if things are clicking, connecting for you in maybe new ways that you've seen before. So this client retention is powerful when you're able to provide people subscriptions. Sometimes it could even be in your premium mentorship program. Maybe it's not that they pay all up front immediately. I recommend that health educators start at least around $3,000 for a group mentorship program. And sometimes there might be payment plans. One of my favorite forms of residual income is that people are able to have payment plans that come in month after month. That's pretty exciting. To instead of having them go to to get a loan, you could be the bank. You can lend them, and they can pay you on a payment plan, and that's a subscription that people are paying for. So that creates recurring revenue. One thing that happens when you have recurring revenue is it stabilizes your income. Instead of having these product launches where you're selling courses or you're speaking at an event and you get a bunch of sales where there's feast and famine, having a client retention systems, it allows you to stabilize your revenue. It allows you to wake up and you know exactly how much money you're going to have this month to pay for a team, to pay for your equipment, to pay for subscriptions, or whatever your operating expenses and then some are. So instead of guessing or being uncertain about what the future holds or when you're going to get the next sale, so this is client retention, learning how to retain your clients, building community around it. This helps tremendously. In fact, that's exactly why we are bringing, why Content Keeper exists, because Content Keeper is going to provide the systems, the platform to allow you to build your community, introduce your courses, even handle it's a payment processor to help you to handle these payments and subscriptions, to keep track of them automatically so that you don't have to keep knocking on their door saying, hey, where's my money? It's time. And that awkward feeling of like, hey, it's time to pay. Content Keeper will keep track of your contracts, and they will help you to make sure people pay on time. It can automatically restrict access, if you so choose, to people who defaulted on their payments, and it's able to just remove the headache. When someone wants to cancel, it can send automatic cancel surveys, automatic cancel recovery, or provide a deal that maybe there's another way you could work it out. Maybe there's a quick question that they have that when answered, they will continue to work with you. Content Keeper will help you to keep track of those who are about they'll help you to see indicators of those that are not using the programs or not getting value from what they purchase. So Content Keeper is a software, a tool built specifically for holistic health educators. We're going to provide it. If you're a current client of ours, we're going to provide it at no extra cost. You're going to get 12 months access to this tool to help you to set it up. So instead of having all these different tools that you got to go to build your business, we have it all in one place. And I know that people have asked over the years if we provide the funnels and websites and course platforms and what we recommend. And finally, we're putting it together. We're recommending Content Keeper. And this is a tool that we're putting together for health educators to really simplify, to be your single source of truth, that one place for your business that's able to track everything, to make it easier for you, that you don't require a technical team to run. And what we're looking at is building systems. See, a lot of health educators think they have a marketing problem. They don't have a marketing problem, they have a systems problem. Because when you have the right systems in place, then business becomes a fun endeavor, it becomes enjoyable. But if your business feels unstable right now, it's usually because one or more of these four systems is missing. It's not because you're bad at what you do, it's just because you haven't had the right tools or the right strategies to be able to put these systems and automations in place so that your business is able to continue to run without your active requirement where you have to actively be there day in, day out to make it work. And I didn't mention the third one, so I'll do that now. The third thing that is needed for your business that I learned from my millionaire mentor, who's a health educator, was leverage. You want to learn how to leverage other people's networks. You want to learn how to leverage other people's trainings, other people's expertise, other people's credibilities, leverage other people's tools. Even like for us, like right now, you're leveraging my marketing knowledge and you're leveraging our team of strategists who've been able to help health educators. There's ways to learn to leverage, and it used to be that in order for you to leverage, you have to have lots of capital, lots of money to go pay and outsource these things. But today it's becoming easier than ever before to find leverage. And leverage is a powerful principle in business because anything that you lack in resources, you can always make up in leverage. Your success is never a lack of resources. It's always a lack of resourcefulness. It's by learning how can we leverage other people's time, other people's knowledge, other people's skills, and learning how to leverage where there's minimal input, maximum output. And one thing that I've found is the reason why I like systems so much is because it's one of the highest forms of leverage. Systems allow you to set it once and you're able to use it for years to come indefinitely, where you make the decision once and it's able to be set in place. So regardless how you're feeling that day, or if you're having a hard time, or if you're spending time with your children, or you're traveling with your spouse or your family, your systems are working in the background. You have systems for generating leads automatically that are still working for you even while you are sleeping or while you're spending time with your family. Having the right systems in place start to automate your business and the value that you add to the marketplace. So if you're interested in knowing more about how you can implement these 4 systems into your business, every month what I do is I go live in this 5-day challenge. I call it the highincomehealthexpert.com. It's a challenge for health educators where you can get on there, ask me any questions you want about your business. It could be about generating leads, it could be about content marketing or sales or crafting your signature speech, where we actually break down in more detail each of these. And we're going to be talking to you. We're doing it the 1st of January, actually. It's the first Thursday of every month. What a great way to kick off the new year, to be able to plan for the year, to plan together, to challenge yourself, to take seriously what the future holds. And these are some of the things that we're going to be discussing and simplifying what this business and marketing things are and how to do it in a way that is very authentic to who you are and from the heart of service that I know each of you have, because you care about people, you value these relationships, and you want to keep in contact in a way that serves people and helps others, solves problems, and in a way that's sustainable. So that, because as Brendon Burchard puts it, if you don't make the money, then you can't sustain your message. And the message matters. And here in our business, we're on a mission to help to raise up a movement of holistic health educators to get your message to the masses so you can save the lives of the people that you're capable of serving and you're called to serve. So just go to highincomehealthexpert.com and join, or you can comment the word event down below and we'll be happy to send you a link so you could join us. But today, this is what we've covered, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and where we drop new videos every week about health marketing that can help you to get your message out to others. And we look forward to hearing from you. Contact Keeper is coming soon, so keep an eye out for what is coming, and we look forward to serving you. Have a great day, friends, and God bless.